Hello and welcome to The Ref Show. Ironically, a programme which should be talking about refereeing decisions, but due to the standard of officiating being so good in the European Championships, it leaves us not that much to talk about. Joining me is Mark Halsey and David Hirst. We'll be touching on Mark Clattenburg's appearance in the final, English ref. Fantastic stuff to see that. Penalty shootouts. Should we just get straight to them rather than extra time? Right then, gentlemen, we'll start off straight away with, well, Mark Clattenburg. Fantastic that he's in the final, bit of English representation. Was it deserved?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I think his performances in the Euros, and not just the Euro finals and the Champions League final and the Champions League, qualifier and the group stages, has been exceptional.
You missed the Wimbledon final out there and the cricket and the
golf
next week.
You were saying off there. What was you saying about him?
He's refereeing everything. Well, I think if the Wimbledon final had been on Monday afternoon, he probably had a chance of refereeing that as well, to be fair. But he's done everything this summer, hasn't he? He's had a great summer.
He's had a great summer. He needs to sort of bottle it all up now. I think he wants to take that form with him, that purple patch for him, next couple of seasons, because I'm pretty sure he'll be refereeing in the World Cup in 2018, and if he does well, I think he'll do that as well.
Certainly, and obviously the standard, as we've already said, has been so good in the Euros. Can we expect to see that carry on into the Premier League?
Well, you just got to look at look who's in charge of the referees at UEFA, and it's obviously it's Kalina. He's a great leader. I think his leadership and his direction and the way he wants the referees to referee, and you can clearly see he wants them to he's actually letting the referees referee football matches and use common sense, letting the game flow, there's physical challenges going on, don't blow up all the time, let some go, recognition of foul, non-foul, careless, reckless. And I think it's been an absolute fantastic, we're not talking about referees, the football's not been great, but I think the refereeing has been, there's been one or two decisions that obviously haven't been correct, but you're going to get that in a tournament. Are we going to see that sort of standard in the Premiership? I hope to think we will, but I'm not so sure we will, because if you look at Kalina, the way he manages his men, I think that's what we've got to look. Don't forget we're going into the season pretty much off the back of this, and for the governing bodies to look into what Kalina's done as he's run the referees, what he's asked them to do. He's had the input of coaches going and watching games and feeding that back to the referees of certain individuals and the way they play.
It's a difficult job, isn't it, that Kalina's had? And do you think he could have done that any better than what he has? Because it's been flawless, isn't it?
I think it's something that we've got to take out of it. We've got to take a leaf out of that book. We've got to certainly invite him over to put that across. And I think but this is what I'm saying. This is why things get held up.
Oh, absolutely.
We look at a great tournament, refereeing standards-wise, run by one of the best referees that's been out there, that's run it really well.
Absolutely.
You've got to go and take a leaf out of him, and take a bit of instruction and direction off him.
Absolutely. As Hirsty says, he's been there, he's seen it, he's done it, he's worn the T-shirt. Now, it's the way you manage your men, you manage your team, and the referees are a team. And you'll know in the dressing room, there's some players you can put your arm around. There's some players that need a bit of loving, just like referees. And I think Mark Clattenburg has got that from Kalina. It's something that we don't get from the PGMOL and the FA. I know, because I've been there, I've seen it. If your face don't fit, they don't want to know you, and that's got to stop. And if we look next season, we've got Adam Watt, who's replaced Kieran Barrett, who was a top referee, Kieran Barrett, and he's replaced because he's retired, and we've got Adam Watt, who's replaced Kieran Barrett as select group manager. Now, he's never refereed at top level. He's only refereed non-league football. So there we have an assistant referee who's taken control of the referee. So you're going to tell me he's going to go and tell Mark Clattenburg how to referee a football match, or if he makes an error, how he's going to put that right?
And that's the problem we have. Are we too bullish? Are we not bullish enough?
Is that imperative then? Would you say that it needs to be somebody who understands that level?
Absolutely. It's about understanding the game. Managing the game, managing the players, managing the occasion. Kalina's done that. And we're now seeing the rewards of someone of Kalina's calibre, who's now stepped up into the throne of the UEFA Referees Committee, he's head of the referees, and I think the tournament was fantastic. It was absolute. The refereeing was exceptional, Absolutely. And I mean, let's not forget Martin Atkinson, because his team was out there. They refereed it. They done very well as well. So I mean, and hats off to Cleaner, because what you got to look at is that the FA pushed Martin Atkinson. They're the number one man. So normally when the FA push a referee, he goes to that tournament. Cleaner has taken it off his own back. Tell you, I'm not having a tournament without one of my best referees, if not the best referee in the world, at the tournament. And he's gone and done the unprecedented step of taking another referee from England. Now, there's no other country that's had two referees at the Euros.
It's strange, isn't it? Because we've come out of this tournament and there's almost no controversy to talk about. There's no sort of goal line incidents, or was it a goal, wasn't it? The only one that sort of sticks out for me is the Bastian Schweinsteiger in the semi-final against France. Handball given against him. Griezmann then slotted the penalty home. They were on top, weren't they, as well? Until that point. That was probably the only thing that had gone wrong. Overall, if that's the one thing that you can look at, it's been very good, hasn't it?
It's been very good. I think what was it, one or two? Not very, very little red cards. All the games. And you're right. I mean, I think our own Glenn Turner on RefCam said it wasn't deliberate act, it wasn't a penalty. But as I said before, you're going to get one or two decisions that are wrong with the amount of the games, because the game's so
view on that decision, David?
Well, I mean, I wasn't surprised when it was a penalty. I mean, the fact that his arm is up there, you didn't see him complaining too much about the decision. Which says it's hit his hand. It's in the box. It's hit his hand. It's something that I don't think we're ever going to clear up. Where is your arm position at that time? Is it a natural position where his hand is? For me, it isn't a natural one in that instance. I understand that you use your hands to jump, but in that instance, the player's got away from him and he's leaned into it with his hand.
There was a few cautions for dissent. As I say, I understand where you're coming from, but the law says it has to be deliberate, it has to be intentional. Now, he's jumped, he's not looking at the ball, like you say, he's used his arms up there. Yes, it's just flicked on and hit his arm. Was it deliberate? I don't think there would have been any complaints whatsoever had he not given that penalty.
I think you're probably right, but on the other side of that, he's not looking at the ball. So is it a reckless challenge? Because he's not looking at the ball.
But then he's got shown a yellow card as well on top of that. He got shown a yellow card.
I mean, I think that was more for dissent than the action. But you put that down the other end, I don't think France would have been very happy if that had been given against them.
Absolutely. Fair play. But that's the only thing that we can really, look back on. And do you think, because the football, from a viewer's perspective, it's always great when there's a major finals on, but it's not been filled with amazing football, has it? And sometimes that's when the attention then goes on to the referees, isn't it? So the fact that it's been so successful is testament to the standard of officiating, isn't it? We've got a couple of minutes left of the first half, so quickly, let's talk about Griezmann, who slotted that penalty home. Is he a great player? Would you like to see him in the Premier League?
He's a good player.
Yeah.
I think most clubs would want him in the Premier League. Whether he'd want to come to the Premier League, which, as financiers as we know, is very good at the moment. But yeah, I mean, he's one of the players that, he got me on the edge of my seat a few times, to be fair, because he's sharp, knows where the goal is, got the golden boot, so yeah, I mean, it'd take a few pounds to draw him over here, but I'm sure it'd be money well spent.
Certainly, and whilst we're talking about the big money moves and stuff that are probably going to come out of Euro 2016, a lot of talk about Paul Pogba. 100 million, is he worth that?
Well, I mean, for me, you can explain it more than me, or better than me, I should say. But 100 million, from what I've seen over this tournament, no, absolutely not.
He's not that, is he? I mean,
not for me. No, I mean, I've not seen anything. I mean, if you switch that round and say Griezmann 100 million, you'd go okay because of what he's just done. You're looking at Pogba, who was released earlier from Man United. They're looking at this £100 million, £300 a week, 300,000 a week. I mean, it's massive money. Hey, clubs can afford it. Don't get me wrong, clubs can afford it, and they're trying to attract the best players to their clubs. £100 million, really? Now, if it was your lad, my lad, whatever, you'd be saying, 100 million quid's fine, I'm sure.
10% of that, you'd be well happy, wouldn't you?
The agents will be smiling,
Oh, the agents, that's
right. But yeah, I mean, he'd never pulled any trees up for me. I know he's had a good season, but no, I think when you're getting £100 million, it's I don't know, a Bale or a Ronaldo, a Messi.
Absolutely.
You know,
Neymar.
players like Neymar. You know, they're the sort of players that
100 million.
really.
Even Iniesta,
really
even
fit
now,
the bill there. Yeah.
We'll talk more about some of these individual players and, of course, look at some of the football more in part 2. Before we do that, though, before we get on to part 2, here's a illustration by Paul Trevelyan. See if you enjoy it. See you in a minute.
In the dying seconds, the home side are defending their 1-0 lead by playing the ball across their back line. You decide to blow for full time, but you drop your whistle in the mud. As you bend down to get it, an away striker steals the ball and smacks a pile driver into the net. What now?